Everybody's colonizing. Basically, they're spreading this idea and spreading these institutions, spreading them out everywhere across the globe. That's the point I want to make with the colonial period. When we look at the next period, that's when we're going to start getting into the lenses thing. So please do keep this in mind. It is getting crucial to the story to understand this part of the story. This part is going to be where our actual story, our storyline is going to end, because after this part, I want to start jumping back in history a little bit. And as we get through this part of the storyline, I want to point some things out. These things are very important. I don't know how many things I'm going to point out. I'm just winging this. I'm just playing this by ear. These things are crucial to understand. That's why I'm pointing them out. So, anyway, let's now jump forward. Let's take a great leap forward. Let's say the Revolution period has already ended. Now, the Revolution period, let me say this real quick before we jump. Well, we're going to work 9 now. We can't do much more, Captain. Anyway, so the the Revolution period. Now, there were two nations in the Revolution period that really stand out. One of them is, of course, America, because it forged a whole new way of living, sort of. And the other one is France. But these ideas were taking hold across the world. It's just that these two countries, you know, they were like, okay, you know what, we put up enough. We put up with enough. And in France, it was like we the people of France were starving. I mean, we the people of France were being abused, horribly, wickedly abused, because of this twin paradigm system, because of this ruling class paradigm system. And the people of France said, hey, this paradigm system, you are killing us with it. It's almost like going back to an early portion of this story. It's almost like God talking through that shaman guy, Hosea, the prophet. In the book of Hosea, I mean, he's smoking hot and saying, hey, my people are perishing. You're killing my people. You're killing them with this crap. Well, this is part of killing the people. And in France, they were radical, man. They just started grabbing these people up and chopping their friggin' heads off. I mean, it was like, well, we'll create a head chopping machine. That's how we got the guillotine, by the way. Somebody said, we'll create a machine to chop their heads off because these people have to go. We're being tortured. We can't take this. Can't take it. In America, we were just, fighting them off and saying, hey, we're just not gonna do it. You guys are ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We're just not gonna put up with this crap anymore. And it's never all the population. It's always smaller portions of the population. If you look at the whole population as 100%, not 100% of the people were getting up and fighting the revolution. It was a smaller group, a smaller percentage, but it was enough of a percentage to let the rulers know, hey, these people mean business. They are serious. And because of them, because of that smaller percentage, which actually reached critical mass, that's how many people there were, because of them, everybody benefited. Everybody benefited. Everybody benefited. Let me say that again, because it's very important that you let this stick in your head. Because of that smaller group, everybody benefited. Everybody benefited. Okay? The oppression was stopped. It's like it's saying, well, bad stuff happens because good people don't do anything. Okay, now let's jump forward to the times of the movies. let's jump forward to the early 1900s. And now from this perspective, we're going to be looking at this from the American perspective, because this is the time when America began to be a sort of industrialized force. But it also began to be heavily manipulated because it was becoming an industrialized force. So we have to keep all these things. You know, when you look at this history, you have to look at the good and the bad. You have to see both. You can't put on some rose-colored glasses and say, oh, you know, the church is wonderful, it's marvelous, it's excellent, marvelous. Oh, it's just so hunky-dory and lovely. Dude, they were like lighting people on fire. Give me a break. And when you look at today, you can say, oh, America's so wonderful. But dude, if you knew the horror that was going on under the scenes, you would probably vomit. It's that disgusting, okay? So we can't do that. We have to take the glasses off, the rose-colored glasses off, and put on our lenses and look at it like that, which is what we're going to do now. So let's jump forward. Let's jump forward to the Industrial Age. Okay, let's land our time capsule in the Industrial Age. Open the bottles, look out the window. Oh my God, we're here, we're in the Industrial Age. Okay, let's take a look at this. Wow, this is really important, okay? All kidding aside, this is a really important time to see, because this set up so much. You want to talk about institutions. We're going to start putting our lenses on and take our rose-colored glasses off and look at some of this stuff. And we're going to do it really quickly. I'm not going to sit around, you know, beating dead horses like I did in a couple of these recordings back. We're going to look at it really fast. So, you know, hopefully you catch it. I hope you do. But if you don't, listen to it again. You will, I promise. It's now the very early 20th century. And there is a new group emerging. Actually, a very powerful, very small group emerging into the ruling class bigger group. And these are the industrialists. Now, if you've never seen the movie, not the movie, I'm sorry, if you've never seen the TV series, and I think it comes on the History Channel or something, it's historical, but it's very well done. The show is called The Men Who Built America. You should watch that show. They have the industrialists, as they were starting out, they have the industrialists rising to power, and they have the industrialists wielding power. Now, that's not all of them, but it shows a pretty good look, a little snapshot of, hey, here's how it kind of was when these people were coming to power. Now, what you've got to understand is that with them, it was a new time in the world, because now it's the time of machines. They came up with stuff like electricity they were coming up with, and things were changing quite a bit. Now, in America, because we were being industrialized and because we were actually becoming an industrialized power that the rest of the world was recognizing as an industrialized power, the other groups of rulers, they were meddling with us. They wanted to bring us back under their guiding hand, their benevolence. Actually, it's malevolence, but I'm being a sarcastic person when I'm saying that. But it's a very malevolent thing. And the industrialists, the whole new industrialist, little smaller group that was merging into the bigger group of rulers, were important to this purpose of theirs, to reign in control on America, because they knew, I mean, they saw it, hey, this is going to become a huge industrial power, and we need to control them now. And I mean, look at all the money that's flowing. Holy criminy, you know? More wars, more stuff, more exploitations, more of that whole thing from thousands of years ago, which is, it's mine, it's all mine, ha 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 ha. You know, more of that stuff. And more institutions and more powerful institutions to control more ways of thinking for the poor people. And when I say poor, I don't mean in poverty. I'm not talking money. I'm talking, you know, people under the influence of the bad stuff that these people do. So more of that, just more of the same. I mean, we're looking at it today. Today, 2016, here it is, right in our faces. So that's how that happened. I mean, that's why that happened, rather. And they got control. They got control by any means necessary, but they did get control. And later we're going to talk about, I don't know if it's going to be in this set of recordings or other sets of recordings, we're going to talk about, you know, some of the details of how they got control. But it's been going on this way ever since. And this just simply was not a good thing. Really, seriously, not a good thing at all. But hey, that's how it happened. So this is the time we're in now. Nobody's noticing. When I say nobody, I'm talking about we the people. Nobody's noticing this because the stuff they're coming up with is just so cool. I mean, it's and I'm talking about the industrialists and the machine age and electricity and cars and all. I mean, it's just changing people's lives. Massively, seriously changing people's personal lives. And so nobody is noticing that the control of the nation is being seized away from the people that are supposed to be running it, and that the power is coming into somebody else's hands. And nobody's noticing this at all, because just the stuff that's coming up it's an exciting time. And that doesn't mean, you know, there was, like, it became a utopia or something. This is the fantasy. The utopia fantasy is in fact just a fantasy. There's never ever utopia, and you're not going to get utopia on Earth. All of you people that think, oh well, we could just do this and get utopia, please, this is Earth. This is this is planet Earth. There's never going to be utopia. There's always balance. It's a balancing act. Okay, so, you know, but just understand, hey, this is what was going on in that time. And as the decades rolled on, we had more and more and more people getting bribed, more and more secret deals, more and more smoke-filled backroom sanctions, more and more political chicanery, more and more of the stuff that's just normal today. We look up at our government and we say, oh, this is how they normally do it. Yeah, everybody's for sale. That's when that started. That's when that stuff started. And they got rid of systems that were designed literally for the good of we the people, and said that we're the rulers of the world. We don't care about we the people. We the people are our slaves. They don't matter. What matters is us. What matters is what we want. What matters is that we control everything. Everything. Yeah, everything. We control everything. That's what matters. So you had that whole thing going on in the industrial age. Now, skipping forward, unfortunately, we went from the industrial age into very serious war period conflicts. And I mean, if you look at these time frames after that industrial revolution, or as it was unfolding, you'll see that's literally when, like, this perpetual war machine started up, and it's been going on ever since. Now, one or two of them had to be done. The rest of them, I'm going to leave that up to you to decide whether that stuff was necessary or not. Okay? Now, we're going to draw this to a close here, but I'm going to leave you with a couple of 20th century and 21st century time stamps. In other words, here's some dates of within these couple of years, because these dates are massively important. First one that's massively important is, of course, 1913. And if you don't know what's happening in 1913 and you think you're awake, you're not. Please, you're not awake. Next one to come up is the time of the 30s and this Great Depression that was started, and they tell you all kinds of stuff. Oh, well, it started because of the crash of the stock market, blah, blah, blah. But just know that that was huge. That was a huge, huge thing. Big thing. And always understand, hey, there's always more to the story. Okay? Let me leave it at that. Another date that was really, really big was 1963. I mean, that was huge. That set a new course, because these people that seized control of the country just decided we are going to control, and nobody and nothing is going to stop us. Not a president of the United States is going to stop us, and we're going to whack them off. We don't care. And then you have another huge date in 1971. It's in August. And then you have another time coming up in the 1990s. It's sort of a shift in the consciousness to kind of leading us into this time that we live in now. And then you have the 9/11 thing, and boy, that shifted a bunch of stuff. And from there, it has been just going in that same direction. Okay, I'm going to end this here, and I'm going to end this story right here. This is the end of our storyline. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back at a later time, and I'm going to talk about a couple of very important ideas that we want to look at, and because we need to pull out our lenses. The next few recordings in this page right here, this is an audio page. The next few recordings in this audio page is going to be dealing with our lenses, because our lenses are so crucial for us to see. And we're going to use all of them and much, much more, because we really need to get a good look. Waking up is one thing, but navigating our lives in a woken up state. Now, this is another deal entirely. So this is where we're going with this. With that said, I hope this benefits people. I think it will. I'm making it for anyone that it will benefit, and I am certain it's going to benefit a great deal of people. So I will talk to you in the next recording. Adios.